Good morning, goeiemorgen to the Cape Townians away, and been asked to give a special shout out to the people in Krugersdorp. So Krugersdorp, goeiemorgen. I know you all can only speak Afrikaans down there. So guys, this morning we were supposed to have Andre here with us as a mortgage advisor. Unfortunately, he has got something else that he needs to do this morning and could not join with us. So sorry about that. On the other hand, I've decided it's a good time again to speak to you guys about jobs and getting your CVs and all this, the needed stuff to get into New Zealand, because that's probably one of the biggest things that hinders people is the job market. There's a lot of other stuff that you can do if you need all your paperwork. You can get all of that, all your police clearances, Department of Home Affairs stuff. It's all stuff that you can go and do, but at the end of the day, you still need the job to get over here. Now, currently, on the 7th, all the rules are changing a bit, and it's going to be a bit more difficult to get in. But yep, that is just one of those things that do happen, and we have got to live with that. Last week, we tried to have our first outside broadcast from all up in Northland, quite away from Tauranga, where I am. So it didn't work as the copper lines down there. It just didn't could do the Facebook Live thing. So let's start this. Good morning, guys. My name is Viljoen, all the way from Tauranga. This morning, if I look out of my window, it's raining outside. So the island is getting a bit of water. We're getting our gardens wet from up top and not from the hosepipe. Outside, a lovely 12 degrees. It's not 12 degrees cold. It's 12 degrees, but more humid than normal, but it's not bad at all. So as you can see, I'm in short sleeves today, and I'm going to stay in short sleeves for the whole day. So my job in New Zealand is financial advisor. I'm not an immigration advisor, so don't ask me any immigration questions. I do the finances stuff. If you need to bring money over to New Zealand, get hold of me. If you need life covers this side, wills, everything, we actually have got a thing that we do our wills, our New Zealand wills, because you've got to need a different will than your South African will. In our New Zealand wills, we give for free with all our life covers that we issue people. That's just the thing that we try and help South Africans with. On the other hand, all these Facebook Lives that I do not sell jobs in New Zealand. Please don't ask me for a job. I don't give out jobs. I wish it was that easy so that I could bring a lot more of you over here. But let's start this morning with point one, CV. A CV is a representative or a representing piece of paper of who you really are. So this is quite important to get this piece of paper quite right. We have an example on the page under. If you look under the page on your desktop, you will have to look under files. It's under files. There is a CV given to us by somebody who has received a job offer on the first try. So that CV is out there, but a few things you got to look for on your CV. I know there's tons of people doing CVs and explaining to you that they will get you the job the first time. It's not as easy. A CV needs the following stuff. Point one, it needs to be a true interpretation of who you are. So that needs to be 100% correct. You need to be qualified for the work that you are applying for. A lot of people are just applying. I see people applying, they say, we've done 100 CVs, 150 CVs, 500 CVs, whatever, and we've got no job offer. There's a reason why. Your CV didn't match the job that you applied for. Sometimes you got to look and see that the job in South Africa or in New Zealand is a bit different from the job that you did in South Africa. So there's also a bit of a difference there. Keep that in mind. Look at the job description. That's quite important. Look at the job description and that what your CV says. Is that the same thing? If it's not, don't waste anybody's time. Change your CV so that it is the same if you can prove that. Okay, remember this. I think the time is now. Venita, you must help me out here. Is it 5 years that you got to prove, or is it 3 years? But somewhere along the line, 5 or 3 years experience that you got to prove. So if you wanted to become a tiler in your life and there's a tiling job but you've never done it before, there's no use sending them a CV and saying you're a quick learner. That's the other one that I have. You're a quick learner. So they're not gonna teach you on a job to bring you into New Zealand out of South Africa. You've got to have some experience on what you have done in the past. I've seen people bring their what is stock purchase, it's not wooden horses, to bring their hobbies, sorry about that, to bring their hobbies on board and go forward with that. People who've done woodworking as a hobby, that have done that at a very high scale in South Africa, has brought that over because they couldn't find in their current position, they could not find an employment position. So they brought their hobby, and the hobby was the one that made the doors open to them. So in that fact, you can also go around and say, you can also go around and say, what am I good at? So you got to look at your CV and say, what am I really good at? Then you can go back to job opportunities, jobs that are on offer there. I'm thinking positions as, I don't want to say this actually, but stuff like operations managers. If you have done something similar but haven't been called an operation manager, let's say you managed something that could have been an operation manager, and you can prove that you have been in that type of role for 3 or 5 years period or longer, and you can apply then for an operations manager on the other side. There's Vanita now. Morning, Vanita. Thanks a lot for that. Depending on the role, trade needs 3 years experience. So if you have had this hobby for 3 years or longer, and you've really done a lot. I know of people who've gone and built in kitchen cupboards on weekends. 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, they had the office job, and on weekends they built in kitchen cupboards. After a few years, they've got the experience to actually start their own business. They just never went the next level to start their own business in this, and this was enough to bring them in as a carpenter or a joiner or stuff like that. So keep that in mind. The fact that you built a wooden pigeon nest once in your life, or me, I've built the grandfather clock in 1988. That would not have qualified me as a carpenter or a joiner. So just keep that in mind. Be relevant to what you are offering, because you yourself is offering something. You are offering your expertise to somebody in New Zealand to pay you to do something for them. So your expertise must be relevant to the position offered. So keep that in mind, guys. Then your CV, keep that free of South African clutter. I've seen that a lot of times. People just look and see, ID number, South African, throw it out. They see stuff like your Benoni or Gauteng or Cape Town address in there. Throw that out. You can even go as far to open yourself a Gmail address. Now this is a little trick. Go into Gmail because it's gmail.com. So throw away your South African.co.za address on email and use a Gmail email address going forward. That just makes you a bit more, I would say, international, a bit more compatible with New Zealand. It brings you over that first hurdle of not being thrown out just because you're in the wrong country. I know there's a lot of people out there that is really extremely good with what they do, but a lot of the stuff on their CV keeps them out of New Zealand. And I've watched a few CVs the last few weeks again, and some of them is extremely good CVs. I would hire that guy if I had that position there. But on the other hand, it keeps them out is the fact that it doesn't show that they are in New Zealand, because that's just what people look like. And I know it's a bit of, can I say the word white lie? And I don't want us to use white lies, but it could be a little bit of a white lie, the fact that you make as if you are in New Zealand. So best thing around here is to get your stuff out there, to put it as if you are really here, you're ready to work. That will really bring the job opportunities more to the front. I mean, for them to do the whole accreditation thing and so on, it's not going to be that difficult. It has been done in the past, and it's going to be the same thing basically in the future. So keep that in mind. That is just one of the few things that you need to do. Then you got to go and up a few things. You got to go and clean up your Facebook. People in New Zealand look at your Facebook. They actually go in there and see, is this guy a party animal, or is this girl a party animal? Is there drunk photos of you lying all over Facebook? Point one, not a good thing. The rental agents even look at your Facebook. Then guys, get your LinkedIn up and running. Get it professional. Put that in your CV. Put it out there. LinkedIn is just another platform for them to look at you and say, yeah, like this guy or don't like this guy or girl. Sorry, I must say girls as well here. A little snip from Vanita here, you need to demonstrate transferable skills. Yeah, that is quite important. Sorry, I haven't brought that really up. The skill that you are doing versus the skill that they need here must be the same. You've got to marry the two. If they want you to be able to walk on one leg, you must have been able to walk on one leg in the past as well. This is just a stupid example, but it is there. So, as Vanita also said, Immigration New Zealand also look at your Facebook pages. Yeah, they look at everywhere. Guys, get your LinkedIn right, get your Facebook right. Go onto platforms such as Seek, go onto Facebook jobs. If you struggle with Facebook jobs, I have got a small video on the beginning of our Facebook page that shows you exactly how to get into Facebook jobs. Just keep in there. That map that Facebook shows you is about 150 kilometers wide. So if you start off in Auckland, for instance, because everybody thinks Auckland is the whole of New Zealand, it is not. Move the map over, let's say, to Wellington. Move the map over to, let's say, Christchurch, and look at those jobs in that areas. A few things otherwise that I would think of. A good thing is always to come to New Zealand to look for a job. To be quite frank on that, I think you've got an 80% chance of getting a job coming here than sitting down in South Africa and just sending off CVs. Somebody receiving a CV in New Zealand and seeing that the person is not in New Zealand will really think about it and say, am we going to give this candidate a chance, or should we rather take one that is in New Zealand? So just keep that in mind. On stuff like LinkedIn, on your LinkedIn page, go to similar-minded people. Go and search there for similar-minded people. I'm going to give you a tip now that I have tried myself, not in the job market, but I've tried it for something else, and it really worked for me. On the top of LinkedIn, there's a search column there. Go into that search column. Then you search for your job description, let's say operations manager, and you leave a space open and you put the word Afrikaans. You've got to put it like this, Afrikaans. Not South African, not anything else. Put Afrikaans, then you click search. You will see immediately a lot of people that is in New Zealand, that is operations managers, that is Afrikaans. Because Afrikaans is one of the languages that you give. It's a weird thing, it does work like that. I've never tried the South African slogan in there, so I can't say if that will work, but I know Afrikaans work. Once you've opened that and you've befriended a lot of those people, if you befriend them, put up a very generic type of description of why you're sending them this friend request. A lot of people open a LinkedIn account and never give attention to that anymore. So you will see a lot of those friend requests just stay out there. Nobody gives any attention to that. But once you put that in there, that you have this type of experience, just put a short note in there, like a CV cover page. Just put that something in there when you send the friend request on LinkedIn, and then they will understand why you are sending them this friend request. Tell them you're looking for these type of jobs, and if they know of anybody else that has these type of jobs. Don't ask them directly for jobs. It's like begging, and people don't like beggars. So ask them, do they know of anybody else who's got these type of jobs, and who can you go to see if you can find these type of jobs, and be specific there of who you are, what you can do. Don't put your 5-page CV in there. It'll kill that conversation from the startup. Do about a shortish paragraph with all your stuff, very compact, why you are asking them, and so on. And perhaps you can get a good feedback there. Even using a platform as, what is the other one? Let me just have a look here. I want to give you actually this one because it worked for somebody else. Instagram. We had a chef traveling through New Zealand, and he went onto Instagram and he looked at all the places that sold his type of baking, and he cornered all of them and said to them he's coming around. He did a few interviews with them, and interviews in the chef world is going for half a day and bake. That's an interview. It's not a piece of paper. So he did that, and he received 2 job offers within 200 kilometers of traveling in New Zealand. So this is small things. Some people is lucky they send off the CV. It's a one-of-a-kind type of job, especially if you're on the trades. The guys working with these type of stuff, they're quite lucky. Diesel mechanics, but not so much. I see what I always thought would be the major jobs in New Zealand is not the major jobs in New Zealand. Stuff like highly specialized IT. But that could also be a job for you because you could be the only person that applies there. So keep that in mind. New Zealand's got a shortage of trades. Vanita will tell us a bit more about this on coming Wednesday, 8 o'clock South African time. So she will be back on here telling us a bit more about the new changes and how it has affected herself and how it has affected South Africans. So that 30 minutes with Jan will always go on a Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock in South African time. But we did this one as we wanted to have Andre on here as well. But well, good enough so I can talk to you all about jobs and job applications. A few other things that I see that people have done, they do their own CVs. Every CV, on every job application, they change. That they look at that specific job application, they look at the transferable trades, they look at what do I bring to the party, and they put that in their CV. Nobody wants to know if you were the high school bibliotheek prefect. Nobody wants to know that you were the headmaster's son. This is stuff. Nobody wants to know because if you were in grade school. So just keep that in mind. Keep that out of your CV. A lot of things that could be in your CV is what have you done in the past. I see the Kiwis like a bit of a story thing. So if you have a small story to tell regarding and around their type of work or the work that you are applying for. If you are applying for a pole technician, tell them the short story about what have you done in the past as a pole technician, and this will relate good to them, and this will relate to them seeing that you can actually do the job. So, and it's quite important as well. On the other hand, once you've cleaned up Facebook, once you've done your LinkedIn, be a bit active on LinkedIn, post one or two interesting things on there in your line of work. Then also on LinkedIn, go onto LinkedIn and say and tick a thing that says, are you open to job offers? Guys, this is quite important. You got to be open to receive stuff in order to get a job offer. So if your LinkedIn is not ticked as job offer, I've ticked my LinkedIn as a job offer because I like to see what's out there, and I keep on getting jobs. I get about 4 or 5 jobs a month. Some of them is not 100% what's in my field, but some of them are 100% what's in my field. So keep that in mind. If your stuff is not ticked, you cannot receive anything. So have a look at a few other things as well. Have a look at the areas that you are working in. Have a look at your Immigration New Zealand website. Speak to your immigration advisor. If you do not have one, Vanita is a very good source of immigration advice. And I mean, after 20 years, she's probably one of the best in New Zealand. So in respect to that, I fully trust her on all of those figures and so on. If you need to get your stuff NZQ8, which means that they look and see if you are for real, you also need to get that done, because that is something that the employer will look at. Is there any questions at this current stage? Let's see if we can take a question or two. Jobs that's really out there, all the tradies are out there still. Trades are being, there will always be a scarcity in this country. They are trying to run a university thing or college thing that they train more of their own people, but I doubt if they have enough people to train in the long run. So, and then the housing market is still very hectic out there. Still not enough houses here. So that's something, if you can build, and if you are a builder, it's not very much the same as South Africa. Being a builder in New Zealand is a total different thing. A builder only does a very small part of the house. Then you get people who does the cladding, people who does the insulation, people who does this, people who does that. So everything on a house in New Zealand is a total different trade. So that is why there's a lot of different job opportunities out there. I can tell you something, the guys who earns the big money is the tilers. I've actually met up with a few of different trades, and I've looked at prices that or hourly wages that these guys are getting, and the tilers out there, these guys are really, so if you are a good tiler, guys, you've got a good opportunity in New Zealand, to be quite frank about that. Something else, there's a lot of office jobs going, but it's not always allowable under Immigration New Zealand laws, and you probably wouldn't struggle to get in on that or get a residence in the long run on that. So that is quite important to be able to get residents at the end of the day. The big reason why you should come to New Zealand, and I want to make this very clear. New Zealand is not a haven where you can come for a year to come and work. Rather go to Dubai or Saudi Arabia or somewhere else, you'll be paid much more. New Zealand is a place where you must have a longer term idea, and one of this idea would be to get residence, to get citizenship. So, but the first step is getting a job. So you get your job, you get your residence, permanent residence, and then citizenship. So that's quite important to keep that in mind. That must be the reason why you are coming to New Zealand. A 1 year visa probably could be a stepping stone, but you must know that you aren't going to be paid to the highest on a 1 year visa and so forth. I see 1 year visas is a new go-to for immigration in New Zealand. It hasn't been that big in the past, but these days 1 year visas is quite on the ball out there. Let's see if there's any. Is there any other ways, or is there another way to verify skills? Will they accept a qualification from an international recognized school? It comes from Natasha. Natasha, I don't know. I know that they got the NZQ. It costs about, I think in rand value, about 7,000 rand or something, and then they will verify who you are really. So, Louis van Zyl asks, any jobs in training and development? Training and development jobs, very much the school teacher type of route. Sometimes I see some school teachers becoming training and development people. So we had somebody just contact us about 3-4 weeks ago. They've had received a position as a trainer at a big company. So that type of jobs is there. Any IT recruitment you recommend? That's from Lee. I don't have any IT recruiters. If there's any IT recruiters out there, please throw your stuff into here. How would you know if an employer is accredited? That comes from America. There is a list of accredited employers, and in the future from the 7th, they all will need to be accredited before they can even employ you. So that's going to level out the playing field a bit there. Herman Meyer says, what about plumbers? Wages. I see a big difference between different employers. Herman, that is so. You get paid by the employer what they offer. So plumbers is not a bad trade to have here. They on average get a good salary, if you want to call it that. Then Andre Marais is asking, will trades get a 3-year or a 1 year visa? I don't know, Andre. I think perhaps that question could be looked at on Wednesday evening when Vanita is with us. Any construction and recruiting companies you can recommend from Quentin? Quentin, try the company called Trade Staff. Trade Staff, they do employ a lot of South Africans that I know about. So on the other side, if you want to go to a specific area, let's say Hamilton, I would rather go onto the Hamilton Facebook or Hamilton internet pages and look there and see what companies is there that are offering my type of position, and then send them off my CV to those companies. Even if you can just send the CV off and say, guys, I know you guys are not recruiting at current, but if you need somebody, here is my CV. This is what I can do. Guys, then something else about the CV. Let me quickly see if there's a question here. Operations manager position in optic fiber from Sean. It scares as chicken's teeth. What's 100 tanden? Are there any insurance recruiters, or does anybody know any? And from Natasha, depending on what you want to do into the insurance field, any insurance type of things that are commission based is normally not a good thing to try there. Are there Walmart in New Zealand? No, I haven't seen a Walmart here yet. All right, Vanita says that accreditation for employments will be rolled out over the next 18 months. That's why I'm not an immigration advisor. I don't know all those stuff. So I'm a financial advisor. I do the insurance and that type of stuff. That's why Vanita is there. Thanks, Vanita. Any motor mechanics in the northern area, not in Auckland? Oh yeah, there's in Tauranga, there's a lot of South African motor mechanics. A lot, to be quite frank, really a lot of them. So, yep, they are out there. If you want to have any more information, Rina, send me a private message later. Then, let's go back to the CV. I want to talk to you about the cover letter. Guys, this is the first thing anybody sees. This is really the first thing anybody sees. Keep that cover letter very professional. Keep it half a page. put in a short summary of yourself, your CV, and so on. Don't tell them how good you were back in South Africa. That's a no-no. Throw that out. Tell them what skills you have. Tell them what you want or what you can bring to their company without bragging. Remember something else, they hate braggers here. So, and sometimes for South Africans, just telling people, well, I've worked with 3,000 people, they would think, oh, it's bragging. And so keep that informative. That cover letter's got to be informative. It's got to be in your face and say, I can do the job. I see claim advisors or administrators, I don't know. Is there any big need for personal training and nutritionists? I know that the skincare people and so on, I think that was on a short skilled at a certain stage. Don't quote me on that, please. Any film industry recruiters out here? Yeah, we've got our own. No, I'm just joking about Hollywood. We don't have Hollywood here. They are making the new, I think, Lord of the Rings movie down. Yes, very soon. I think shortly they will start filming all over New Zealand for that. So, if you are Mel Gibson or one of those people, or a hobbit or a dwarf or something, you probably would have a role to play in that movie, because they love using local actors. Quick before the time catches up, cover letter's got to be nice, CV's got to be clean, Facebook has got to be clean, LinkedIn's got to be professional. You got to reach out to people, otherwise they won't know about you. Look on Facebook jobs. There is a few recruiters on our page as well. The recruiters out there, please guys, put your names up for the people to, and the jobs that you specialize in, because that's also important, guys. And then the big thing is, don't give up. Be out there, be in the face of people, be the next go-to person if they have a job opening. Put your CV out there. Don't randomly put your CV out there, because you will randomly get 0 results, to be quite frank about that. Put your CV out there to the company that you would want to work for. Put it out there. Tell them, this is who I am. This is my CV. I do understand you do not have a job opening currently, but please keep this on file. It could just be that they have something coming up, and you are the first guy that reached out to them. Yes, they would have to do all the necessary advertising and stuff, and Vanita can tell us a bit more about that next week. But you could be their first go-to guy if they do not get anybody else. Remember, this is more and more becoming the fact that they must first employ New Zealand citizens, then they can employ South Africans. So in the past, I know people got off the airplane, walked into the first place, and started off with any job. I've heard of people who started sweeping floors here. And that's how they got residence in the long run. Started off sweeping floors, worked their way up. It doesn't work like this anymore. So let's see if we can take 1 or 2 more questions. Sales or service industry, is there opportunities? There is definitely opportunities out there, but it's a very competitive field. A lot of Kiwis also apply for those positions, and I see some of the places have long time run their job ads, and they don't find a lot of people. But remember, other people are also applying for that type of positions. What is the chances of getting work in the science industry with a BSc degree without work experience? Work experience is a big thing. Probably Vanita can give us some feedback there. In my cover letter, I've put, I understand the concern for looking at me as a migrant. Should I remove that section? How successful were you with that section? Always ask yourself that. How successful were you with that section? If you weren't successful, take it out. You could I know people put stuff in like they are document ready, and I know people put stuff in that they will pay for their own. There's no sponsorships in New Zealand, so you have to pay for your own. So your employer doesn't want to know about paying, because suddenly it rings all alarm bells and so on goes off. So I've asked about how does relocation fee work, and no one could answer me on the Facebook. Any ideas? Relocation fee like a sponsorship, it doesn't happen. I've only heard of 2 people ever in my 2 years in New Zealand. I've only heard of 2 people ever who was sponsored, and they had very specific industry background in the electronic field into generating of power, and they were bought out physically by the power company in New Zealand from Eskom in South Africa. Everything was paid for them. I know sometimes the employers will, once you arrive here, they'll set you up for 3 weeks in a house or an Airbnb and give you a car for the period of time just to get you on your feet. that is more a signature of goodwill than the norm. So just keep that in mind, that the sponsorship does not really happen in New Zealand. CCTV installers positions, that from Milani. There is people doing CCTV, but remember the New Zealand crime rate versus the South African crime rate. It's not really a necessity to have CCTV installed everywhere. Guys, that's us going 7:30. The rain has stopped in the island, so our gardens are wet this morning. My name is Viljoen, all the way from Tauranga on the North Island. There's 2 islands here, on the North Island. I'm a financial advisor, and next week, remember, Vanita will talk to us a bit more about all these changes that are coming and is going to happen, and how that will affect you. And it will be a follow-up from her last series that she did about a week ago. So keep the faith, stay in there. The guys in South Africa, stay safe. The guys in New Zealand, get on, go to work, and let's be off. All right, guys and girls, that's me. Until next time, see you all.